Hello students, welcome back to a new video lecture on oscillations and waves. The last videos we have seen basics of simple harmonic motion. So in this video we will see different types of simple harmonic motion. So basically there are three types of simple harmonic oscillation. That's known as free oscillations, damped oscillations, the third one is forced oscillation. So there are three types: free oscillation, damped oscillation, forced oscillation. We will see one by one in detail. First we will focus on to the free oscillation. So what exactly free oscillation? As name itself says, oscillation is free. So whenever a body or system is set to vibrate or oscillate freely without any resistance, it always vibrates with the same frequency. The frequency with which body vibrates or oscillates freely at its own frequency, that's known as natural frequency. Body vibrates with natural frequency without any external resistance. So natural frequency of oscillation of simple pendulum is given by mu is equal to 1 by 2 pi root of G by L. Similarly for spring mass system, spiral spring or spring mass system, it is given by mu is equal to 1 by 2 pi root of K by M. So in the case of pendulum, it is L is the length of the pendulum, G is of course acceleration due to gravity. In the case of spring, K is the force constant, M is the mass attached to the spring. So the oscillation of the body or system with its natural frequency under no external influence of the other impulse initiated the motion called free vibration. So only impulse is given to initiate the oscillation. Once oscillation is initiated, there will not be any force acting on the body. So example, you can take a tuning fork, vibrates with this, its own natural frequency. Okay, so not much detail because differential equation whatever we have discussed for simple harmonic motion is nothing but it's related to free oscillation only. So actually whatever the topic related to free oscillation already we have discussed, but without calling it as free oscillation. Next we are going to discuss about damped oscillation. Okay, as just now we have discussed, in an ideal case, a body once set into oscillation, it will continue to oscillate between two spatial positions forever without any decrease in amplitude. In practice, the amplitude of oscillation of the body gradually decreases. For example, if you take a simple pendulum, if you set it oscillation between two spatial positions, okay, after some time you find that gradually the amplitude decreases and finally comes to rest. What exactly happens? The air present in the atmosphere which opposes the movement of the bob, that means some damping force is stopping the oscillation. So energy is lost because of the resistive medium or viscous force. So whatever this decay of amplitude of oscillating body with the time is called as damping, and the oscillation is called as damped oscillation. Under the influence of damping force, the oscillation is called as damped oscillation. In a damped system, the system is subjected to two forces. First one is restoring force, restoring force, which is proportional to displacement, but oppositely directed to the displacement. So let me call it as F1 is a restoring force which is proportional to displacement, or F1 is equal to minus Ky. K is known as force constant. K is known as force constant. Okay, negative sign indicates which is opposite to the displacement. The second force which is acting, that is known as a frictional force. Frictional or retarding force. Proportional to velocity but opposite to the direction of motion of the body. That is, F2 is equal to minus gamma dy by dt, where gamma is known as damping constant. Damping constant, it's also known as a resistive coefficient. So in other words, it's nothing but frictional force per unit velocity. Okay, frictional force per unit velocity. That is. So this frictional force or retarding force, which is proportional to velocity, so that is written in terms of displacement, dy by dt is nothing but velocity. If m is a mass, okay, if m is a mass of the body, mass of the vibrating particle or body, and acceleration, its acceleration is given d square by dt square, d square y by dt square, and it is a displacement, and it has a displacement y, and moving with velocity dy by dt. Then the equation of the motion of the particle can be given by m to d square. Of course, if you want a clarity, what I can do is total force acting on the body, F is equal to F1 plus F2, that's equal to minus Ky plus becomes minus gamma dy by dt. So according to Newton's law, F is equal to ma. A is acceleration, so therefore F is equal to m into d square y by dt square. Okay, combining force equation, you will get m into d square y by dt square is equal to minus ky minus gamma dy by dt. On rewriting, m d square y by dt square plus gamma dy by dt plus ky is equal to 0. Okay. Now dividing by m, so d square y by dt square is plus gamma by m dy by dt plus k by m y is equal to 0. This can be written as d square y by dt square plus gamma by m can be written as 2b, which is a constant, dy by dt plus omega square y is equal to 0. Let us call this as expression number 1, where gamma by m is equal to 2b and k by m is equal to omega square. Okay, so equation 1 is a differential equation of the second order. So let it be solution. Let us assume that y is equal to a into e to the power alpha t is the solution of this differential equation. Then substituting these values in equation 1. Substituting these values in equation 1, so substituting the values of d square y by dt square and dy by dt and y in equation 1, you can rewrite. So to get that, first let us differentiate that. Dy by dt is equal to a into alpha e to the power alpha t. D square y by dt square, second differentiation, a into alpha is a constant, e to the power alpha t is again e to the power alpha t, exponential power, differentiation is alpha, so alpha square. Yeah. So substituting in equation 1, so we get d square y by, so a alpha square e to the power alpha t plus 2b into dy by dt, that is a alpha e to the power alpha t plus omega square y is a into e to the power alpha t, that's equal to 0. So a into e to the power alpha t is a common term. A into e to the power alpha t is a common term, so therefore you can take it outside. A into e to the power alpha t into alpha square plus 2b alpha plus omega square is equal to 0. So this is a into e to the power alpha t, so you 2b alpha plus omega square is equal to 0. This is of the form quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Then solution, that is root minus a b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So in this expression, a is equal to 1, coefficient a is equal to 1, and b is equal to 2b and c is equal to omega square. So therefore you can write alpha is equal to minus b is 2b, so therefore minus 2b plus or minus root of 4 b square. B square is b is 2b, so the square of that 4b square minus 4 a is 1, so there is no question. C is omega square, so omega square divided by 2 a is 1, so therefore divided by 2. Therefore taking 2 as common term from the inside the square root, taking out 2 will become common, that will get cancelled. So therefore alpha is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus omega square. So hence general solution of the differential equation becomes y is equal to a1 e to the power root of minus b plus root of b square minus omega square into t plus a2 e to the power minus b minus root of b square minus omega square into t. Call this as equation 2. Okay, so this is what exactly. Next, so now if you see the values of alpha, you find a1 and a2 are the constants. Now important thing is it's arbitrary constant. The nature of motion depends on relative value of b and omega. Very important thing you can carefully observe. That is root of b square minus omega square. There are 3 possibilities. Either this can be positive, 0 or negative. 3 possibilities. So depending on the value of b square minus omega square, you have different cases and different solution for this. Okay, so now what we will do is let us see different cases. So first let us consider case 1. That is when b square is greater than omega square. That is damping force is greater than omega is related to angular frequency or natural frequency. Okay, that is related to natural frequency. In this case, root of b square minus omega square is a positive quantity, and also this is less than b. Let us say root of b square minus omega square is less than b. Now what happens? Powers minus b plus root of b square minus omega square into t and minus b minus root of b square minus omega square into t are negative. Thus displacement consists of two terms, both dying off exponentially to 0 without performing any oscillation. The rate of decrease of the displacement is governed by the term, that is minus b plus root of b square minus omega square. The other term, that is minus b minus root square minus b omega square, reduces to 0 quickly relative to this. Compared to this, other term reduces to 0 quickly. So this will govern the how exactly it goes to 0. So this type of motion is called as overdamped. This is known as overdamped case, or it's also known as deadbeat. There is no oscillation at all. The system never oscillates. Not only that, it takes a long time to return to equilibrium position. Let us say displacement is taken in y-axis, the x-axis time. So this is a displacement. So slowly decreases and it will take more time. This is overdamping. It never goes to 0, but it will take long time to reach 0 because its exponential decreases. This term not easily go to 0. So it will contribute. Okay. So that's regarding the first case. So this type of motion is shown by a pendulum moving in a thick coil, or deadbeat moving coil galvanometer and other thing. You can see this. Okay. Alright, next case 2. When b square is equal to omega square, b square is equal to omega square. So it's said to be critically damped. That is, if b square minus omega square is equal to 0. In this case, damping term and stiffness term try to balance each other. So what happens? In the equation, if you substitute this equal to 0, let us see, in the equation 1 or 2 we have to substitute. So then y is equal to a1, what exactly happens is b square minus omega square is equal to 0. Here also it is 0, so second terms vanishes, so you are left with e to the power minus bt, which is a common term. So therefore a1 plus a2 into e to the power minus bt. So that's equal to g into e to the power minus bt, which is a constant. G is again a1 plus a2, that's a constant. Okay. So let me call this as expression 3, but there is a constant. So this shows that exponential decays to 0 exponentially with time. But the solution of equation given by equation 3 contains only one constant. But the solution of a second degree differential equation must contain two constants. should contain two constants. So to find complete solution, what we will do is, instead of assuming b square is equal to omega square, let us assume b square is approximately equal to omega square, but it's slightly greater than omega square. Slightly greater than omega square. Then what exactly happens? So let us assume if it is greater, b square minus omega square is equal to delta, a small quantity. Let us assume that delta is a small quantity. Okay. So what happens? Then what exactly happens? Let us see. The equation 2 becomes, okay. So now y is equal to a1 e to the power minus b plus delta into t plus a2 into e to the power minus b minus delta into t. So simplification, e to the power minus bt is common term, a1 into e to the power delta t plus a2 into e to the power minus delta into t. So you can expand that, e to the power minus bt in a1 into e to the power, similar to e to the power x. So on expansion it is delta t plus so on, plus a2 into 1 minus delta t minus so on, because second term is important. As delta is very small, term containing square and higher power neglected. So you are left with only first two terms. So therefore y is equal to e to the power minus t into a1 1 plus delta t plus a2 into 1 minus delta t, or y is equal to e to the power minus beta t a1 plus a2 into plus delta a1 minus a2 into t. So let us put a1 plus a2 is equal to a, and delta a1 minus a2 is equal to b. Then what happens? Y is equal to e to the power minus beta t, a1 plus a2 is, we have taken as a, plus b into t. So it is clear from the equation 4 that as time t increases, the factor a plus b into t increases, but the factor e to the power minus beta t decreases. This factor increases with the time. This will increase, whereas this will decrease exponentially. So on this way, displacement first increases due to the factor of a plus beta b into t, but at the same time reversal occurs due to exponential term. So because of e to the power minus bt, its displacement approaches 0 as time t increases. It is clear that this case exponent e to the power minus bt, while the first case more than minus bt, hence in this case particle return to equilibrium position more rapidly. So such damping is known as critical damping. This type of motion is mostly exhibited by many pointer instruments such as voltmeter, ammeter, etc., because immediately it should be ready for the measurement. Okay, so you can go back, and this is rapidly goes to 0. This is critically damped. critically damped. Okay, so this type of damping is observed even in the case of shock absorbers and other thing, critical damping. Alright, next let us see case 3. In case 3, that is b square is greater than omega square. Damping constant is, this is b square is first case we have taken, b square less than omega square. In this case, root of b square minus omega square becomes a negative quantity, it's an imaginary quantity. Imaginary quantity. So therefore what we will do is, we will write root of b square minus omega square as I into root of omega square minus b square, or that's equal to I beta, where beta is root of omega square minus b square, and I is equal to, this is beta, I is equal to root of minus 1. So therefore equation 2 becomes, so if you substitute this equation, you have to substitute this in equation 2, and we can write y is equal to a1 e to the power minus b plus I beta into t plus a2 into e to the power a2 into e to the power minus b minus I beta into t. So y is equal to e to the power minus bt is b into t is common, so a1 into e to the power I beta t plus a2 into e to the power minus I beta t. Okay, so exponential term can be written in terms of cos and sine. Alright, let us see how exactly go about it. So you can write y is equal to e to the power minus bt as such, a1 which is a constant, e to the power I beta t can be written as cos beta t plus I sin beta t plus a2 e to the power minus I beta t can be written as cos beta t minus I sin beta t. So that can be written as, okay, further you can write it as y is equal to e to the power minus beta t remains as such. So what I will do is, I will collect real and imaginary part together. So a1 plus a2 real part, a1 cos beta t, a2 cos beta t. Cos beta t is common, plus I into a1 sin beta t, a2 minus I sin beta t. So that means sin beta t is common, so therefore I can write a1 minus a2 sin beta t. Okay, so let us put a sin phi is equal to a1 plus a2 and cos phi, a cos phi is equal to I a1 minus a2. Then the equation becomes, okay, then y is equal to e to the power minus beta t, bt remains as such, a sin, a plus a2, a1 plus a2 is a sin phi cos beta t plus a cos phi sin beta t. So this a sin phi cos beta t, so okay, a is a common term, you can take it outside, sin phi cos beta t, cos phi sin beta t can be written as e to the power minus bta sine of bt plus phi. So this is what exactly desired the equation. So substituting a into e to the power minus bt sine, value of beta can be substituted, that is root of omega square minus b square into t plus phi. So this equation represents simple harmonic oscillation, simple harmonic motion with amplitude a into e to the power beta t. This term represents amplitude, and period of oscillation t is equal to 2 pi by beta, or 2 pi divided by root of omega square minus b square. The amplitude of vibration continuously decreases, that is because of the e to the power beta t, because of this term, that is 1 by e to the power bt, 1 by e to the power bt. So because of this, so that decreases. So this factor is called as damping factor. This is known as damping factor. So decay of the amplitude depends on damping coefficient b. So this type of oscillation, this type is known as underdamped. Okay, so example is oscillation of pendulum in air and oscillation in electronic circuit, something like LCR circuit, and other thing is example for this. So let us pictorially represent this. So displacement y is on y-axis and time t is on x-axis. So this is the displacement decreases and amplitude decreases exponentially. Amplitude decreases exponentially as e to the power a into e to the power bt. So that is how amplitude decreases. So this is what exactly called as underdamped oscillation. Okay. So of course this will lead to the quality factor and other thing that we have already discussed. No need to discuss much about that. So I will stop here. The next video we will discuss about forced oscillation. Thank you for watching.